No, it's a bit obnoxious and should probably just stay in Canada.
You must have had to beat off a lot of men to get this part. Why does that make you giggle?
You're listening to...
She was kind of a buzzkill.
Am I making this up, or did this really happen?
No, yeah.
The realest thing that you could do.
TheBuzzRadio.ca.
I'm on all the mics, dog. Look at this.
You're on something, that's for sure.
We are back in the CKDJ studios. So
We are live!
I'm just on the excited train right now, honestly.
Hell yeah!
Whew.
You're listening to The Buzz on CKDJ 1079. Ottawa's new music.
You ever think you're going to be saying that again? You listen to The Buzz on CKDJ 107.
I can't tell you how much I love Ottawa's new music. Ooh-wee.
You know,
Some of those songs.
I had it on since I got past Canada.
I've had it on since birth. I really love the energy of the guy that was on before us.
You know what? It's something to look up to, I think. I was realizing that I'm kind of boring in my vocal expressions and everything.
You got that right.
Yeah, so
You
from
do
now
have a
on...
dopey looking face. Were we talking about that? Sorry, I didn't mean to jab you.
A dopey looking face?
You know what's funny?
What?
If I was you,
Yeah.
I would be the most miserable person on earth.
Really?
Yes, I would.
So what would you be if you were yourself?
Do you want to know why?
Oh, okay, sure.
Or do you just want to jump into this?
Yeah, okay, let's just jump right into it. Go ahead.
What happened to you, fool?
Wow, look at this beautiful tan. Obviously, I got that.
Man. If you don't know, Tyler was living the good life.
Yeah.
He had a job on a cruise ship. You had a job on a cruise ship!
It was the good life. Like, I had a room cleaner every day. I had someone make my meals and take my plate away from me. I had someone do my laundry for me and drop off alcohol at my door if I wanted it, you know. What else was there? There was sun every day, the ocean beating against the beautiful calmness of being out in the middle of the ocean. There was stars every night if you wanted to see them.
If you don't know, Tyler had a job on a cruise ship. What was it called? The Sea Princess?
The Sea Princess, yeah. I didn't know if we were going to bring names into this, but it's out there now. Yeah.
Okay, well, he was working on a Royal Cruise Line. Was that even the company's name? Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
I'm not good at this.
It doesn't matter. And it was it was what, 4.5 months, 5 months now since
You
then?
left October the 17th.
That's true. Yeah.
And I was so mad at you because it was like a day before my birthday. I'm like, this jerk.
Yeah, so we should catch up. How was your birthday?
On his way to like summer, and I'm stuck here in the damn snow.
No, it's true. I flew halfway around the world. Like, I literally left winter on this side of the world. And I flew over to summer in Australia. Well, actually, that's not true.
A crazy adventure.
That's not true. I flew to Singapore. Yeah, no, this was a crazy adventure.
So when you flew to Singapore, did you know that you were going to be? Were you supposed to stay in Singapore, or did they like spring it on you that you were going somewhere else?
I didn't know. I just knew I was flying to Singapore, and I had a hotel for one night. That's all I knew. So that day when I got to Singapore, I walked around. I saw as much as I could. I took a lot of pictures. Remember, I was so excited to be there. It was neat. Singapore is cool. It's a fun place. And after that, I was supposed to join the ship. So the next day, they put me on a bus from the hotel in the morning, and I went with all the other people who were joining that day. So there was like 100 people at the hotel with us, and we all got on a bus and went down to the cruise ship.
Oh, 100 people. Were they all other people that were coming from different countries that are there to work?
Yeah, that's right. So they were coming from all over the place, a bunch of different countries, all joining the ship in Singapore that day. So
it's like the United Nation cruise ship.
Honestly, that is a really good way to sum it up. There's so many different cultures on board. It's crazy. Like, I remember talking to a South African girl in Singapore. I was like, yeah, like, I want this one. There was a hot little South African girl.
Why do you say it like that?
What?
You say it like I never could ever come up with anything like half decent to say. You're like, wow, You really nailed it that time. I'm impressed. I mean,
It's
normally
not
you're
like
just
I
a
don't
moron.
expect it. It's just like, when it happens.
I was told that this week, actually.
You got called a moron this
No,
week?
someone told me that I was an idiot. I was like, yeah, okay, you're right, I guess.
Wow. It's good to know
I
yourself.
was told sometimes I'm an idiot.
Was it by a boss or an employer?
No, it's always from a girl.
Well, then who cares?
I guess.
Oh,
It was just startling to hear. Like, sometimes you're just like, wow, I'm an idiot.
things take you by surprise?
Yes.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the ship. You're in Singapore. You're
Oh.
on a boat. No, you're on a bus
We're on a bus going to the boat.
with
so
hundreds of other foreigners going to a boat.
we joined that day, and I'd learned that it was going into dry dock.
You never want to go into dry dock.
I was just
dog.
about to say, did you want to pull
always
into
want
a
it
wet
to be
dock?
at least a little slippery before you dock.
Yeah.
What exactly is dry dock? Sorry, I mean, you're talking to us like we're like an average boat people.
Yeah, that's true.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
Okay,
right now.
dry dock is when they take the
Dry
cruise
dock.
ship out of the water.
Dry dock sounds like they cut off all the alcohol to the boat.
Oh, that didn't happen. So what they did is they took the ship out of the water for 2 weeks and they refurbished the entire thing. Like, did a bunch of renovations, changed all the carpeting, did new stuff to the rooms, put mattresses in. Like, everything got changed.
Do they refurbish the important stuff?
Like what? The engines?
Like the motor?
No, that never
No.
gets refurbished. No. So it's just what the passengers can see.
They just buy a rebuilt one from a junkyard and install it.
Oh, there's a big underbelly to the cruise ship world.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you lived in it too as an employee for a while, but we'll get to there.
Yeah, no, I did. Like, for example, my cruise line sold their oldest ship to the other cruise line that the company also owned, and like kind of pushed it off and remarketed it as the best thing ever. But it was just the oldest ship in one of their fleets.
I
You know?
thought you were going to say they sold it to a bunch of Somali pirates.
Yeah.
Imagine.
What would they do with it? Do you think? Would they have
Somali
it?
pirates?
Do you think they would actually have it as a cruise line, like a cruise ship that they go on vacation on?
One-eye cruises. Aye, matey. If you can't have fun here, you can't have fun nowhere. Babos.
All they did was install the plank, and like it was good to go.
A couple of little like hanging ropes, and then that's it. That's a good refurbishing.
You know what? Honestly, though, thinking about refurbishing a ship, if you were to have a cruise line, what would you do on the ship? Would it be like a comedian's cruise, a weed cruise, maybe?
I don't know, dog. I don't get along well with the boat.
Yeah, that you wouldn't do well with
I
the
don't know
whole
what I
cruise
would do.
situation.
I'd sell it. I'd pawn it. I'd
But-
pawn the boat.
Here's the thing,
I'd
actually,
take it straight to Vanier and pawn it.
but when you're on a when you're on a big ship, you don't really feel the movement of the water much.
Yeah, I believe you.
Only sometimes. Okay, so anyway, we're getting ahead of ourselves here, though, because the ship wasn't in water for 2 weeks in Singapore, so I got to see the entirety of Singapore. I just walked around, and like I had to work 3 hours a day, maybe. And for the rest of the time, I was free to either drink or see Singapore. So, like, obviously my habit of drinking started during that 2 weeks.
It's like nothing has changed. I mean, it was the same stuff you did here in Canada.
Yeah.
You drank and walked around aimlessly. Oof.
But here's the thing.
All right.
A 5 or 7 minute walk from my room, there was a bar.
Where, on the boat?
On the boat.
Listen, that boat would have been an alcoholic's nightmare. And I'm not going to lie, dog, you might be borderline at this point.
What do you mean borderline? I've stepped way well. Honestly, on this, I'll be honest with you guys, because I mean, what else am I going to do? I borderline stepped right over the line. Yeah.
You know, a friend of mine predicted this, right?
Really?
She told you before you went, she's like, oh, you're going to get kicked off for doing something crazy.
Well, here's the thing. How much do you think a beer was on the boat?
Australian prices or Canadian prices?
Australian. One beer. Heineken. Heineken.
Well, what's Australian money?
It's about the same as Canadian.
No, like, what's it called? Do you not know the name? Does
It's
it have
just like a dollar. Like, it was nothing
are they
special.
like Australian rubles or something like
No,
that?
it's just a dollar.
No, I think you're lying to me. I'm going to look it up. Hello, Google, my other brain.
Your real brain, the one that actually
yes,
works.
my functioning part of the brain.
You're just gonna Google. It's just a dollar,
Of
dog.
course
Why are
I'm
you getting
gonna
hung up
Google it.
on this?
I don't know. You're right. Why am I? It's because I want to know. You act like it's being hung up. It's called knowledge, boy.
Yeah. Okay.
And if you would have taken some of that knowledge, you would have been as strong as some of these women that we're celebrating today.
We are going to celebrate a lot.
International Women's Day.
Is that why we have the
edition.
Is that why we have the balloons? Should I go get them?
No, the balloons were like a welcome buzz. Welcome back to the buzz.
No, but we can dual purpose them and make it look like, we really cared about this day and wanted to be important about it, and we got balloons.
You already told me you were going to give them to someone else for their birthday.
Shut up. They didn't have to know about that.
You don't want to overpost it because, people are going to start to think that you're like one of those. Oh, you're right. It was the Australian dollar. Get creative, Australia. You stink. So anyways, we got balloons. And it's because we're celebrating the buzz being back. Tyler's back from his cruise adventure.
Yep. There's lots to celebrate. There's a lot to talk about.
We were in the middle of something. Sorry,
we were telling a story, but it's true. There's lots coming because it's International Women's Day. We got some news stories we need to talk about. Jimmy's been going through some issues we need to address himself. I mean, I'm not saying I'm an angel, but
maybe we should take this commercial break really quick.
Yep.
Come back and get onto this boat with you because we're still dry docked, right?
All right, let's get on the ship.
You're listening to the Buzz.
Let's get in the water
edition on CKDJ 1079.
Broadcasting at 1079 from Ottawa, Ontario. This is CKDJ FM.
Welcome back to The Buzz on CKDJ 1079. The broadcast headquarters. Is it safe to say that? Is it safe to say?
From the Algonquin College Mega Studios in the middle of Ottawa.
Yeah, make it sound big and exciting.
You're listening to CKDJ 1079.
Fireworks. Thank you for yelling.
We're The Buzz. We're back.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get that energy.
Wow. I had to fake that because I didn't really get much energy off that whole intro thing there.
Yeah?
Yeah. Maybe this Coke will help. A little bit of caffeine. You know how much caffeine I've drank since I got... Oh, boy.
We have, like, a wider range of an audience. To half of them, you're drinking Coca-Cola right now. To the other half, you're snorting lines off of the desk.
Yeah.
You need to clarify.
But why not let the imagination take things? This is all about theater here. Theater of the...
1 second. It's all about imagination.
Okay. Here we go. Just imagine this, dog. Okay, ready?
All right.
You are floating in the middle of the ocean on this massive hunk of steel, okay? It's got 15 decks.
Ooh, I love hunks of steel.
You're moving at about... Why? You're moving at about 30 or 40 kilometers an hour.
So what is that in knots?
Knots, that's about 13 knots per hour.
I got a knot in my stomach right now.
Yeah, me too.
I'm moving.
So the wind is blowing. You're heading for New Zealand. It's getting a little chillier. And that night, in the crew bar, there's a Latin night.
None of this makes sense. Latin night in the middle of the Australian Ocean or the Indian Ocean?
Yeah, there's a lot of theme nights. There is. And I learned that quick. So back in dry dock, there was Halloween. That was my first experience of parties on the ship. Oh.
What did you go as? The only white person in Singapore?
Actually, yeah. I dressed up as a cowboy. And honestly, I was the only one that dressed up. They didn't have no machine guns in the Wild Wild West.
Imagine this ginger in a pair of tight cowboy pants and like some
I have a picture.
Tassels on the front of him and stuff, wearing a cowboy hat.
I was the only one who actually wore a costume.
Yeah, probably.
It kind of set the tone for my time on the ship. Everyone was like, who is this little kid that just joined? And I made so many friends that, oh my God. So anyway, there were a couple crazy things about, well, actually that night, I met 2 contractors that night. And during dry dock, they brought 600 people onto the ship to do renovations just for the 2 weeks, right?
Wow.
Yeah. Big workforce, like a lot of money.
So what was the common, like, how do I put this lightly without being a jerk? What was the common slave there? Like, how many, like, were there a lot of Indian people there?
Yes.
Now, you don't mean like Indian Canadian, like native Indians, right? You mean like, yeah, no.
Like
okay,
homegrown.
Let's steer away from this.
Yeah. So the thing is, actually, the shipyard in Singapore is 90% Indian workers.
I knew it.
That was, yeah. So
they're 90% of the world. I'm not a genius here. There's a billion of them, a billion Chinese, and the rest of us. Come on. I mean,
and it's pretty close to Singapore. So they make a good amount of money if they go work in the shipyard.
Don't they wish they were in Singer Rich?
So they are kind of poor. I was talking to 2 of them while they were working, these workers, and in India, they make about $400 per month. Or $500 per month.
Should I even ask?
What?
What's Indian money?
I have
They
no
are
idea.
rupees. We make 400 Indian rupee coins.
I have no idea what it is. But they make enough to like kind of support their family. And if they work extra overtime, then they make a fair amount of money and they can support more people, right? So obviously they're trying to take care of their family. That's why they're working in this foreign country. And
you know, some of them could be liars. They could be taken away from their... I was right. It was a rupee. God damn it. Sorry.
Are you serious?
What if they're like...
You're on point with your
running
guesses.
away from their family. This is how they're escaping their family.
Well, then why are they sending all the money back home again?
That's what they tell you.
That's what
They're
tell
probably
me.
spending it all at the bar.
Maybe. So the thing is, dog, some of them maybe are living that lifestyle, which I wouldn't disagree with them about. But there's also some of them who are trying to support their family back home, and they work all these extra overtime hours, right? They work. And one guy was driving a forklift, and he was working for like 13 or 14 hours in a row, and he drove the forklift in between the dock and the ship, so it fell like a solid 50 feet.
And he had no clue what they were talking about when they ran up to him and said, "Oh my God, what did you do to the forklift?" He's like, "What is forklift?"
No, he died.
What is oh no, I'm a horrible person.
Yeah, he died. A lot of them die. Like it's a very it's a dangerous place to work. I'm serious. They were telling me about this, and I felt so bad.
We had this problem in like the early 1800s. Didn't we building the railroad in Canada?
Yeah, but in Singapore, like if you saw
I'd like to apologize again to the Asian population, mostly Chinese people in Canada.
If you saw...
Wait a minute, I wasn't responsible for getting the bridge, the stupid train built.
The railroad. Okay, so we have a railroad, and that was like a lot of infrastructure to build. You should see Singapore. Everything is man-made. The beaches are man-made. The canals through the city. Singapore used to be a giant, big land of mush.
It's International Women's Day extended, please, man and woman made.
Right.
Hold on one second.
That was a powerful message.
It was.
Yeah. So, they use a lot of Indian workers to build Singapore, is really where I was going with this. And
I come from Lebanon, and they use a lot of Indian workers as, like, babysitters and slaves.
Really?
Well, I mean, technically, you don't call them slaves because it would be rude to call them slaves.
Mm.
Like, I have a cleaning lady, and I call her the cleaning lady, but she's my friend.
Yeah.
I'm rude.
Yeah.
So you wouldn't call your slave a slave. You'd be like, it's the helper, right? The nicer way. But it's a bunch of Indians that come and, like, raise people's kids and everything, and clean their house and do their laundry. And go get them shawarmas.
The helpers.
Whatever Lebanese people need. Polish their cabs. And
watch the house while they go to the church. Yeah, there's lots of jobs, right?
Taste their pizza recipes that they're bringing to Canada.
Oh, you do that thing where you get the helper to test if there's poison in your food before you eat it too?
Yeah, it's almost like royal.
Yeah. Here, try this food before we eat it. We got it down at the new shawarma place. The thing was, when you're in Singapore and you're wandering around and you're there for like 2 weeks and, you know, you might get up at noon and you work for a bit and then you go out, you kind of lose sense of time.
Is it because the numbers are different on the clocks?
Well, there was a big time change, yeah. But no, the numbers are the same. Singapore is very English.
You mean English?
English, yeah.
Okay.
So that kind of was like a theme that extended out into when we actually started sailing. You lose sense of time on these ships, dog. You don't know what day it is, what month it is, what the world news is going on. Nothing.
I guess, right? It's almost like being on a permanent vacation.
Yeah.
Because you don't pay attention to the news. You're like, who cares? Who cares what Trump thinks right now?
It doesn't matter. We're in the middle of the ocean.
Right?
Yeah.
Oh.
So you don't know what's going on in the world. You don't know what day. Like, people be like, oh, it's Thursday. You'd be like, cool. Like, I'm going to the bar tonight regardless. So that was interesting and a little different. It kind of led into a few.
You just lost your spot.
It kind of led into a few issues, I guess.
Well, how?
Well, you know how I said you're going to the bar regardless?
Yeah.
Every night on the ship was like a Saturday, and every morning was like a Monday.
Well, I mean, I get random Facebook, like, video chats from you.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, dog, last night was rough, man.
It wasn't,
like,
yeah.
What's going on? You're like, I'm still drunk from last night. I can't do this no more.
Yeah.
Like, what day are you on? You're on day 4. I'm like, ha, 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 ha. That's funny. And then I get a call like 2 weeks later. I'm like, oh, I'm on day 16. I'm like, uh-oh. I'm like, dog, maybe you should take a weekend off. He's like, I can't. It's karaoke night tonight.
Honestly, there was no breaks. There was no breaks. It was 5 months of straight partying. But in ways, it was a lot of fun. It was...
Oh, really? 5 months of partying was a lot of fun?
It was a lot of fun. And the thing is, there's 44 different cultures in the crew. Let that sink in for a sec. 44 different nationalities were in the crew.
I'm trying to think, but nothing happens.
I know. Tell me about it. In the crew bar, there might be like...
It really suck if you were a racist on that boat, huh? Always hiding your purse and stuff?
I never locked my door once.
No, I mean, white people are trusty.
Yeah, I guess
Plus,
so.
you don't have anything. Who cares? Who's going to steal anything from you?
That's what I'm saying. Like, what do you want? My room was so small, there was nothing in it. I had a laptop that I bought in Singapore for cheap, like $100.
From a flea market.
From a flea market. That was amazing. So, yeah, it was pretty cool to meet all different types of people. I had a Russian who I'd meet in the bar every night at midnight. His name was Simon. And we do a shot of vodka every night at midnight. That was just like...
His tradition?
That was our tradition.
Wait a minute. No, he was an employee on the boat.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, he was an engineer.
It was like his piece of home. He's like, I must have taste of home. I must drink vodka at midnight every night. Babushka!
And when I first showed up, he's like, oh, this little Canadian can't drink.
Yeah, a lot of people make that mistake, don't they?
We had a good time.
I've seen a lot of cultures make that mistake with you. I've seen Jamaicans try to drink you under the table.
Yeah.
And they had to crawl away from the bar.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So it was a bad environment for me, needless to say. Can I tell you a few stories about passengers? I mean, enough about the... This all kind of leads into one story. It's all going to lead down one path, really.
Can I ask you one question first?
Yeah, sure.
What was the food like?
Oh, dog. So... I don't want to brag. I don't want to pretend like I'm...
You didn't cook it, so I don't know what you're bragging about.
I don't want to pretend like I'm better or anything, but there was a certain hierarchy on the ship.
Oh, okay.
And officers were at the top, and I happen to be an officer, so I don't want to brag, like I said.
Do they give you like a badge and a clip-on tie and all those things that officers normally get?
Yeah. So pretty much what it meant was we got a person to clean our room every day, whereas everyone got it like every third day. And we got our own place to eat. And in the place to eat, dog, it was the passengers' menu. So what
Look at you.
What the guests got every night, oh my God. Like you could get salmon every night. You could get a burger every night. You could get... And then they'd have specialties. Like,
is it a lot like resorts? Like they have like a set menu theme every week?
Yeah.
And like Caribbean nights, Thursday night?
So it varies based on itinerary. Like if you're doing a different itinerary, the food's different. But if you do the same one over and over again, you're eating the same food.
Man, Singapore night would have been delicious.
Oh, Asian nights, dog.
Yeah, I bet, right?
So you could eat down there, or you could go up to the buffet, and we could eat at the buffet too, and that was unbelievable.
You don't have to ask me twice. It's always going to be buffet if you ask, if like it's even brought up.
Yeah, but the thing was I could buy a bottle of wine and drink it in the officer mess, where I couldn't take one up to the passenger area. That's frowned upon.
Well, they named you accordingly, that's for sure.
What?
Officer mess?
It was a mess. The bar opened at 6 p.m. every night, and it closed at 2 p.m. every night.
For employees. The bar's open all day for people that are on the boat, no?
Yes, and if you make good enough friends with the bartenders, they'll give you drinks too. Not that I would know about that.
Not that you didn't have 6 bartender friends or anything like that.
No bartender. I had a few bartender friends.
Not gonna lie, I had a bartender friend or two.
Okay, so let me start with there was a girl named Laura on the ship, and Laura was an Australian from near our home port.
Strike one.
Yes. Laura came on a cruise to New Zealand.
I mean, okay.
She came with her grandparents for 2 weeks.
That would be like me going on a cruise to Quebec. Isn't New Zealand like really close?
No, it's not.
To Australia?
It looks close on a map, but it's not. It takes 3 days to sail to New Zealand from Australia.
Wow, it really doesn't look that far away.
I know.
On the map.
3 days is that's a lot of, like 700 kilometers or something, or 900 kilometers or something.
Well, that's like the length from here to Toronto. No, that's like 400, 500. That's like from here to like London, Ontario.
No, it's further than that. I'm sorry.
That boat must be traveling really slow if it takes that long to get.
Well, it does. They travel slow to save fuel. When they're going slower, they're saving gas. When they go fast, then they burn more.
The amount of money they charge for those cruises. Why would you want to save gas? I'd be pinning it the whole time.
The cruises, it's all about money.
Yeah, I bet.
It's all. So you think when you buy a cruise, like you might spend $600, $700 to get the cruise,
right?
When you get on board, you're spending your money.
Yeah,
you're gonna
that's
spend.
when they catch you.
You're gonna spend at least $1,000 on board, probably.
I think part of the thing is, like, don't they have this system where they give you a card and you don't pay up front for everything?
Mm-hmm.
You just swipe the card and everything's great.
Yep.
And then before you leave, they're like, oh, by the way, can we see your card for a second? And they're like, oh, yeah. Remember Wednesday night and you brought drinks for everybody? Yeah, you owe us like thousands of dollars.
They do that way. And it's funny because they give you that card and you can spend as much as you want. If you can't pay for it, you can't pay for it.
Well, then what happens?
You can't get off the ship.
On the boat for another week.
You get charged or something. Oh, there's so many. Okay, this woman bought art, $7,000 worth of art, and couldn't pay for it. So they just didn't give her the art, and she was crazy. She had this reputation on the ship. I was running a paper airplane competition where people had to make paper airplanes and throw them through a hula hoop.
And what, you were the judge?
And I was the commentator. I was like, all right, next up we got, if Johnny's going to be throwing 3 of his paper airplanes. Can he get one of them through the hoop? If he does, he gets a prize. So,
I can't believe they pay humans to do this. This is
I get a lot.
Anyways, go on.
You're not going to like hearing about the events I did during the day then. There's a lot of stupid ones like that. We had an egg drop challenge where you had to build a device with stuff you find on the ship and drop a raw egg from 4 decks up and make sure it doesn't break.
Wow.
All right, so anyway, I was doing the paper airplane competition, and this guy throws a paper airplane, his 3 paper airplanes, and this woman runs from one side of the room to the other, and she goes, can I say... I'm sure I can. She goes,
If you question it, you can't, I guess.
Bastard! Is that bad?
That's okay.
Okay, I didn't know.
It's just your name.
Son and the Holy Spirit. All right. She goes, you bastard! And the guy looks behind her. What? I think she was crazy, and she starts yelling. She goes, you should have thrown it this way! And she was the same lady who was yelling. Oh, there were some pretty crazy passengers on board, dog. There were some crazy people who take cruises.
Yeah, right?
One of them...
I mean, first of all, you have to be, like, able to go on the boat for, like, a week and not, like, want to touch land. I mean...
You'd be surprised.
Eventually you get to land.
Eventually.
But, like, 3 days on a boat in the middle of nowhere?
4.
Like, say you were going from Australia to New Zealand.
It's 4 days at sea.
And you said it takes, like, 3 days. And, like, that's 3 days of you seeing no land. Like, just pure water all the time.
Are you saying that people that take cruises are crazy? Is that what you're going with this?
I'm saying I can see how they get crazy.
Ah, yes.
After a certain amount of time.
Fair enough.
Say around 4 months.
Yeah. What? So, yeah, I definitely got a little crazy. Everyone who works on cruise ships are a little bit crazy. There's no doubt about it.
You're boat crazy.
Boat crazy. Ship. It's not a boat. It's a ship.
Yeah, you're shipped in the head.
Well, speaking of shipped in the head, there was this girl who fell in love with me. She was a passenger and like ended up crying on my shoulder because I wouldn't be with her.
Oh, she's a shiphead.
She is. So over the 2-week cruise, she got really interested in me, and after she left, you can't do anything with the passengers. You get in a lot of trouble if you like touch them or kiss them or whatever.
I don't understand. So she was interested in a pale-skinned alcoholic?
Yeah.
She's really setting that bar high, isn't she?
So she goes home and she sent me this Facebook message that was like crazy. Like, here's all the reasons why I fell in love with you over the past 2 weeks.
Oh, come on. Pull it up and read me this message. I need to hear this.
Do you?
This is great.
All right, you're right. It's pretty much gold.
Oh my God.
Hold on.
The ginger officially has his first stalker.
That's
this
true.
is great.
You're right. This is definitely one you want to read on air too. Okay, so she sends me these messages, and at first she's hot. Like, I'm not gonna lie, she's hot. She's got good features. She's slim. She's tall. She's blonde, and I lost my train of thought. She's
probably useless then if you can only get slim, tall, and blonde out. You were talking about her features.
Oh yeah, she was attractive. So at first I was like, yeah, you know what? Maybe this isn't a bad idea. She's not a passenger anymore. I can do whatever I want to now. And I kind of let her on a bit. Maybe I don't want to take full responsibility for this issue, but I might have let her on a bit. And I told her a day that I could meet in Brisbane. She lived like a really long way away from Brisbane, like 2 hours, 3 hours. And we get near that day, and she goes, so can we meet up? And that day, the girl that I was actually with on the ship, she was a little Chilean girl.
What, she was cold? She needed a sweater?
She was very cold.
She was Chilean?
She might have been cold because I didn't tell her about this other girl that I was talking to that I might meet up with in Australia. And, like, the Chilean girl was leaving on the day that I said, yeah, I might be able to meet up with you, to the crazy blonde girl. All right? So I'm out there putting the Chilean girl onto the bus, getting her suitcases and stuff loaded. I'm outside just for 10 minutes. I'm going to go back in and sleep for the rest of the day. So I load her stuff on. I'm going back to the cruise ship to go to bed. And as I'm walking in the door, there's the blonde girl standing there waiting for me. I'm like, what? What's going on?
Stage 5 crew. Just standing outside the boat waiting? That's not even normal.
I'm telling you. So I see her. I'm like, oh, what now?
Duck!
Well, the thing is, I can't get back into the ship without walking by her. There's no other door. I have to walk by her.
Ah, you just stepped in a pile of ship.
Exactly. So I'm like, this is a shippy situation. So walk up. I have to talk to her. I can't avoid her. And she's like, on a scale of like 1 to insane asylum, how crazy do you think I am?
You're in the red.
So I kind of brush it off and laugh because, once again, she's attractive and she's standing in front of me with her big stupid badongers hanging in my face. I'm like, well, you know, you're not that crazy. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing here?
By badonkers, what do you mean? Like her big stupid brain?
Yeah, pretty
her
much.
Big stupid personality that you love?
Her eyes. Her eyes are huge.
They're just big and dumb?
Big and dumb and beautiful to look at. So,
they're the kind of eyes that every time they look at you, it looks like it's, huh? She tilts her head sideways every time like a lost puppy.
Don't be mean.
Huh?
She asked me. Okay. She asked me to go for lunch. And me being too nice, I'm like, yeah, okay, we can go for lunch. That's fine.
I'm surprised you're not buried in New Zealand right now.
So she, we went to New Zealand, but we're back in Australia at this point in Brisbane. And
I'm surprised you're not buried under a pile of kangaroo dung.
Fair enough. Me too.
Hello, mate. I'm dying here now.
She asked me to go for lunch, and we're sitting there in this really attractive dog. You know Asian girls, how they can get, like, really hot.
No, I don't.
Of course you would never know about that. One of them walks by that's just a 12 out of 10. Oh, a 20 out of 20. And I turn around and I'm like, wow, look at her. And the blonde girl's like, what do you mean look at her? I'm right here. Why are you talking about her? And I'm like, why is this even an issue? Like, we're nothing. We sitting next to each other, that doesn't mean anything. But she goes, before we leave, because I know you need to get to bed, can we talk?
Nope, kind of tired.
Yeah, I actually got to go. She goes, we need to talk about us. Jimmy, how would you feel if a girl that you thought was crazy in the head, like insane asylum crazy, says, we need to talk about us?
Right there.
Sometimes you don't need words. You can just sum it up in a sound effect. So
how is there an us?
That's what I literally looked at her and I was like, there is no us. I literally said that. She starts crying. Do you have a crying sound effect?
It sounds like
she starts doing this sound effect all over my shoulder, hugging me. And I'm like, she goes, even if you, like, you say there's no chance, are you sure of it? I'm like, I'm sure there's no chance. She goes, well, even if you say there's no chance, I'm still going to believe that there is.
I have no interest in talking to you, so hit the road.
Hit the road. So, I'm like, you're crazy. I got to go. So I run back into the ship. Keep in mind now, this is a day that we're in port on a turnaround date. There's passengers leaving and there's passengers getting onto the ship, okay?
And you're in there praying. You're like, I hope she doesn't have a ticket for the next cruise. I hope she doesn't have a ticket for the next cruise.
She didn't. Exit Laura, okay? Exit Laura from Crazy Girl status. Like, she sent me this message the next day, and I can't load, dog. For some reason, it's stuck.
Yeah.
And I want to read you the 8 reasons.
She threw her phone into the ocean. She's like, I'll kill him if I ever see him again.
Girl. So I get rid of her, After that, it's a 2-day short booze cruise.
No.
A 2-day booze what?
A booze cruise.
Booze cruise. I'm a friend. You like the booze cruise?
Keep in mind that after this booze cruise,
with the sharks?
we're back. That's what happens when you drink enough booze on the booze cruise. We are back in Brisbane we're back at our home port in Brisbane after the short 2-day booze cruise, right? We do this short little booze cruise. It was really fun. I don't know if I want to get into this. I feel kind of bad still. I was kind of a homewrecker on the booze cruise. That's a good segue, actually. So there was this blonde girl, and she was really hot with her mom. I don't remember any of this. I might have been a little under the influence, and we were having a deck party.
Might have been.
We were having a deck party where everyone gathers up on the open deck and dances, and the live band plays, and it's a lot of fun. Like, all the passengers go up and dance. So everyone's drunk, and I was like, I'm just going to follow suit. I might as well have a few shots. And
when in Rome or when in Australia, do as the
when
Australians.
in Australia, they drink like fish down there. So I had a good night, and
do
I guess
fish actually really drink?
They do.
All right.
That's how they breathe. So we were dancing,
Well,
and
then it's not drinking; it's breathing.
Well,
anyways, go on.
They drink to breathe.
Sorry.
Should we clear this up?
No.
Okay. Do you know what gills are?
It's hard to clear it up with the water all going in your nose.
That's true. It's in my ears. I can't really hear.
Do I know what gills are? Do I know what gills are?
Yes. Do you know?
No, I have no clue.
I get dancing with this really hot blonde girl, and she ripped the shirt off me. I had this Hawaiian shirt on from Bali that was a piece of crap as it was, and there was only like 3 buttons on it. And I guess she grabbed my shirt, and all the buttons ripped off. So it's flailing. My boss is there. My boss's boss is there. And I get my team to like tie it around me to kind of like look like I'm wearing a shirt. Apparently, I looked really gay at that very moment.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so anyway, I'm sure you could picture that. But this girl who ripped my shirt off.
I like how you assume that I could picture you looking like a gay guy. That's great. That's fantastic. I don't even have to insult you. Like, you just kicked yourself right in the junk and turned around and walked away. It's fantastic.
I guess I did it here too, because you know the girl who ripped my shirt off? She was with her boyfriend. And her boyfriend saw it happen, and that night there was a big fight, and the person who's in charge of the ship, called the night manager, you'll hear about them later in this story. Oof. That night manager is the person who's in charge of the ship at night, and she kind of...
And the only time you see the night manager is when you're in a pile of ship?
A pile of ship. So she had to split up their rooms, because apparently the guy was really jealous that this girl ripped off my shirt. Anyway, that was fine. The cruise ended the next day, and they all left the ship. I was like, I'm never gonna hear about this again.
As much as I'd like to blame you, I mean, how did you know? It's not your fault. You're not a homewrecker. You're just like, you're like one of the 3 wolves.
Dog, I'm actually a homewrecker. Do you want to hear that story?
There wasn't 3 wolves. There's 3 pigs and 1 wolf, right? You're one of the wolf. No, you're the wolf.
It turns out that
they had a weak house.
There was 3 stories, actually, as well. And in this last one, you're going to hear how much of a homewrecker. Do you want to... Let's do a commercial break quick, and then I think we can get in.
Oh, man. You're listening to Tales from the Ship.
Can I just say that she was with him for 2.5 years?
Stories from a complete shiphead. On the Buzz, you're listening to CKDJ 107.9.
We need a ship
horn.
We'll
be back after... these shippy commercials. You are listening to The Buzz on CKDJ 107.9, Ottawa's new music. I've discovered one of the greatest radio stations on Earth. I got access to Sirius satellite radio lately, and I've been stuck on this channel called Backspin. It's just old school hip-hop tracks like this. I've been driving around in my new job all day just singing all these old songs. It's fantastic. Gets you in a great mood. You don't want to get into fights when you're listening to old school rap. It's funny. New school rap makes you want to shoot someone. Old school rap makes you want to, like, dress all good and, like, make money and stuff. Music has changed. And, as I mentioned earlier, we're celebrating International Women's Day a little late this week. And shout out to the crazy that followed the ginger on the boat. And other crazies like, how about this one, Ginge? Catherine Mary Knight. She's the first Australian woman, fits in with the theme of the show and everything, to be sentenced to life imprisonment without parole. She was convicted for the murder of her partner, John Charles Thomas
Yeah.
Price in October 2001, and she's currently still in prison in Silverwater Women's Correctional Facility.
You know, that's a big hat on the you can hang that you were the first ever woman in Australia to be convicted.
Do you want to know what she was convicted of?
Sure.
She stabbed her husband to death, and then she skinned him. She then put his skin on a meat hook, cooked his head and parts of his body, and then placed it all together with vegetables on a plate and place cards and fed it to her children.
No.
Yes, so
Oh!
I want to give a happy International Women's Day to Catherine Mary Knight. Another amazing woman
Oh, God.
that make you just want to celebrate
I think I just gagged.
womanness and womanhood. I got a few more of those on today's show.
No.
But welcome back to the Buzz on CKDJ. Stop acting like it's that. I know why you're coughing. You got to cough to get off. That's what they say.
I want to get off the thought of that story, to be honest.
All right, then. Let's get off the thought of that story and let's get back on the boat.
Well, being International Women's Day, I want to celebrate the beauty of all the different kind of cultures that are out there in the world, you know?
All right.
So that day that the big blow-up happened and there was the fight with the night manager, a Serbian girl joined the ship as well.
Oh, okay.
Enter Serbian girl. Beautiful, short, black hair, amazing eyes as well. Features like you wouldn't believe, dog.
I don't trust them. She's from Russia. You can't trust the Russians. They taught us this from the 60s on.
Well, I trusted them.
Okay. Tell me what happened with this Serbian girl.
So I got talking to her.
Tell me about Serbian friend of yours.
Wow, it's kind of spot on. So, turns out that she was on the ship to save money to go backpacking with her boyfriend she was with for 2.5 years.
What a waste of time. You lost me at boyfriend.
What a waste of time, right? But when I heard...
With who? She was there because what?
She was there to save money to go on a backpacking trip with her boyfriend of 2.5 years.
Although, it's odd to find a woman that likes to save money. That's great. Congratulations. She gets a Woman's Day prize.
She must be smart.
What does she get?
She got me not caring the fact that she said that she had a boyfriend for 2.5 years. And
I mean, you did start half of this story with, like, the official statement of you being a homewrecker, so why would you start caring now?
Well, I didn't start at that point, to be completely honest. And it just so happened that one night there was a wine and cheese party. And
now that's the night you should have wore that cowboy outfit.
Well, I don't really think it mattered what I wore because by about let's say 11:30 p.m., I had already drank a bottle of wine, which I don't usually drink, and had my first shot of whiskey.
Ooh, that's not good.
So when you start mixing, this might be educational for you, in which case I'm going to be glad.
What's the deal with you and whiskey all of a sudden?
Dog, I love whiskey.
Okay.
But I also added white Bacardi rum to that mix as well, so I was doing shots of rum and whiskey, Jim Beam and Bacardi. And I had a great time. So I made a lot of friends on the ship, and like I would walk into the bar, and I would have to say hi to everybody for like 5 or 6 minutes before I even got to sit down. I have a few drinks with people, so naturally, after coming into the bar from the wine and cheese event, I talked to everybody, and I had 2 more shots of Jim Beam. And me and my buddy who were drinking Jim Beam, he was from the U.S., we were having a great time, right?
Well, I mean, how could you not have a great time? You're drinking Jim Beam.
Exactly. I didn't have to work the next day until 7 p.m. Also keep that in mind, right? So I'm like, this is going to be a messy night.
All right.
It turned into a pretty messy night, and before I knew it, I had another shot of Jim Beam, and we were starting to shoot some Kahlua. So I started...
I miss Kahlua.
Yeah, right?
That's why, if you ever hear me in disgust of something he eats or he drinks, it's out of jealousy, really.
Yeah, Kahlua is a beautiful thing.
Oh, my favorite thing ever used to be those Café Españols.
Frio.
Oh, jeez. Anyways, so you're on to Kahlua after the Jim Beam shot.
I don't know if I want to tell this whole story, but I feel like I need to share it at this point.
You're already halfway off the boat.
You know, I'm fully off the boat at this point, to be honest. So, the Serbian girl, recognizing that I had been having a lot to drink, said, maybe it's time for us to go back to my room. I said, yes, it is.
Okay.
So, off we go, down to deck 2.
I'd like her to go to my deck, too.
She was a belly dancer for 8 years.
A Serbian belly dancer? Does that even make sense?
Yeah.
Don't they dress, like, in parkas and stuff in Serbia? Like, isn't it cold?
No, not all the time.
Yeah, it's in the Arctic Circle, isn't it?
No. It's part of...
no, I'm getting Serbia mixed up with Siberia.
Yeah, that's for sure. It's part of Europe,
both
dog.
Of them sound kind of cold, to tell you the truth.
So it wasn't cold on the ship.
Well, no, because it's summer over... I get it.
That was a low blow. That was really unnecessary.
Tyler's reminding me that it was winter here the whole time, and I have been freezing myself off here.
Yeah, it was 32 degrees that day.
It was 32 degrees here, too. Minus 32.
Minus 30. Yeah, we're going to get to that in a second, the whole post-ship experience with this snow thing in winter. I'm not impressed, to be honest.
We're going to get to your postpartum depression?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Now you say, why post? Well, because the Serbian girl dragged me back to her room on deck 2, and in the room, there's a bathroom, of course. But that bathroom, unlike mine, is attached to another room. So if you can picture this, there's this tiny little room, and it's got a sink. Beside the sink, to the left, there is a bathroom attachment. There's a toilet and a shower in there.
In this tiny little room.
So this is kind of like the ghetto of the ship, like... Yeah.
You were living in the ship ghetto?
No, I wasn't. The Serbian was, and that's where her room was. So we went there.
So they put the immigrants in the ship ghetto, and you were in, like, the white side of the ship?
No. Well, I was in, the white. I was in the officer white part. Yeah, that's true.
Yes! Racism lives!
No, that's not true. So, anyway, this is going to go downhill quick. There's no real easy way to put it. But I walked into the bathroom, and I decided that I was finished in the washroom, and I walked back into the Serbian girl's room, which turned out to be the other person's room because I took the wrong door, which led into the other person's room.
Bravo!
So here I am standing in the other person's room. I'm like, well, it's time for bed, I guess. So I start climbing the ladder into the other person's bed.
Oh my God, these rooms have bunk beds in them?
Yes. There's 2 people.
It's like being 13 years old in the middle of the sea.
Dog.
So these people that you went into their room, do they work on the boat as well?
Yes.
Oh, man.
Yeah, this is all like crew in down this area, too.
Oh, so you went in the wrong room. Was it a girl's room or a guy's room?
It was a girl's room.
Oh, wow.
So,
yeah, you messed up.
Here I show up, and the one that I tried to crawl into bed, I never made it into bed with her. The Serbian girl walks in. She's like, Tyler, you're in the wrong room. Like, let's go. You're stupid. Then I'm like, I know I am. I'm so sorry. But one of the girls, the one who I didn't try to climb into bed with, got a little angry.
Oh, yeah, you're such a player that she was jealous. So she got, hey, get out of here.
So cue the whole night manager situation again. And it ends up that you're not allowed to drink a lot of alcohol on the ships. And I had been drinking a fair amount that night along with some of my friends. And
does that even make sense to you?
What?
Why would they sell you alcohol at dirt cheap prices if they don't want you to get mashed up on the ship? That's a whole shippy experience.
It was a shippy experience. Because security got involved, and it turned out that I had been drinking a fair amount that night.
Well, yeah, Jim Beam, Kahlua. And you lost count at the 6th shot. You don't know what you had after that.
No. So, anyway, it turns out I had to have a little meeting with the Commodore/Captain and have
What the hell did you just call him? What's a Commodore? It sounds like a 80s early computer that used to play, like, ColecoVision games or, like, you could play Dig Dug with it.
It turns out that it's not any of those things. It's quite...
Not as fun as it sounds, Jimmy.
Not as fun as it sounds. The Commodore is the captain of all the captains in the Princess Fleet. So there's one of them for 14 captains in the entire company. And he happened to be on our ship. No. At this point.
And they told you had to meet with him?
Yes. Very serious meeting indeed.
Oh, and they let you know that it was going to be a serious meeting. I remember getting this call that night.
Yeah.
Like, dog, I think I messed up. I'm like, well, I don't know. What do you mean you messed up? And he told me this story. It was this for like 10 minutes. You went into whose room? For what?
So, I'm not the first person that this has happened to being kicked off the ship for alcohol, and, the story spreads pretty quick, and it turns out that I have one of the funnier situations. Not that it's funny for me.
You're literally a legend on Australian boats right now.
Yeah.
They're like, it reminds us the time of the ginger. He drank too much and went in the wrong room. We had to kick him off the sea.
I had it was hard to say goodbye to everybody.
A pirate instead of an Australian there. Jeez. Go on. You had to say goodbye to everybody. Aww.
But the Serbian dog.
And what did you have to say to her? I will speak to you later. Bye-bye for now. I will see you later, Mr. Bond.
I used that accent the entire time, and it turns out that they it was a bad situation at the end there, needless to say.
Sometimes accents get you sucked in. I was telling you before the show started that I did mushrooms one night, and I did a British accent for about 12 hours.
When did it break, finally?
So when I went to bed. When I sobered up.
I wonder if you're doing it in your dreams that night. Like you're sleep talking in an accent.
I wonder if I do it in my dreams still. They have been weird lately.
You've been remembering your dreams recently?
No.
No,
I'm well past that.
Do you ever remember your dreams?
No.
No?
No.
No, me neither.
No. I heavily medicate before I go to bed, so... If I remember them, they'll be wacky dreams.
Here's a good story about medication.
Okay. Great segue, Tyler.
On the flight home, so I left Sunday at 10 a.m., okay? Bear with me here.
There's one part of the story that you're leaving out.
Oh, okay.
How much money did you make on this ship working for 4 months?
Tons. Like, I bought this studio, did I not?
Okay, you don't have to say an exact amount, but, like, would it be enough to buy a used Honda Civic?
Let's say that it rhymes with about $100 American dollars.
You'd say around $120 American or $140 American dollars.
Yeah, it's definitely funny.
You came back with nothing.
Nothing.
4 months.
Oh, dog, I spent so much money.
You drank it all.
I drank it all, and I partied, and I bought a lot of clothes, and I had the best time of my goddamn life.
Going to work on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
I was like, listen, who cares what they tell you? Just go have fun, do what you got to do, get it out of your system for free, and come back.
I had the most fun of my entire existence in this last 4 months. I can't even put words into it for you. Like, so much fun.
It's not a real job. Of course you had fun.
Yeah.
You lived on a resort for 4 months.
Yeah. I paid about $1.70 for a beer. I paid about $1.20 for a shot, and I smiled and talked to a lot of different people.
What was your actual job?
All right, the fair question.
Okay. I almost forgot why you were on the boat for a second there. Fair question.
Technically entertainment. So I was part of the entertainment team, and in the entertainment team, there is a division called the cruise staff, because they work for the cruise director. The cruise director is in charge of all the events on the ship. All right? So anything from like hosting an event to hosting a game to hosting a game show at the nighttime, trivias, beanbag toss, all that kind of stuff.
You in charge of that?
Karaoke's, yeah, I ran it all.
Lit constantly.
Yeah. And I did really well. I did really, really well.
I mean, for what you know, you did really, really well.
No, all the passengers left really good comments.
Well, yeah, who doesn't get along with a drunk buffoon that wants to play darts?
Yeah, I got really good at darts, dog. No, I got to do, so like, for example, we do beanbag toss. So, like, everyone would run beanbag toss really boring, and my version was, okay, the first round you throw with your good hand. The second round you throw with your good hand.
Well, you're so used to having your beanbag in hand. I mean, of course you'd be good at it.
I could toss a beanbag like no other person on that ship.
You are a goddamn beanbag. This is ridiculous.
Because of my weight and,
I'm
like,
so angry right now.
Use?
I've been stuck in this goddamn city for 4.5 months, freezing my nerds off.
Yeah. I saw Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. I saw the entirety of New Zealand. Like, all of it. North Island, South Island. I saw 3/4 of Australia.
I feel as if, like, if you would have said that to a white person, they'd be more interested than me. I'm like, whippy doo-dah. Like, the only thing I want to know is if the toilets flush backwards. I don't care nothing about no Australia.
Yeah.
You know, Singapore, I might have been down with that.
Yeah, Singapore was hot.
Did you go to Thailand?
Yeah.
I'd go to Thailand, but
No,
not
I didn't
for,
go
like,
to Thailand. No, I didn't go to Thailand.
You went to Bali, didn't you?
I went to Bali, yeah.
You were all around there. Malaysia.
I was in Malaysia.
Thank God you weren't on a plane in Malaysia.
Yeah, seriously.
Wow. That would have been a fun part of the trip for sure.
It was all an adventure. I mean, there's stories galore that will come out eventually, but like that pretty much sums it up right there. I went, I partied really hard. I met a lot of interesting people. I got really drunk and I got kicked off, and I'm back again about a month early. And I'll decide. I'm not fired from the company. I can go back and work again, but I just decide if I want to.
What?
I can go back again in like a couple weeks or...
You lie.
No, I'm not.
You lied. No one's going to hire you back on a cruise ship after you got ship-brained and then you went to bed in someone else's bed?
Yeah, I'll get hired tomorrow if I want to.
Well, then what are you doing here?
Recording a podcast, talking about International Women's Day and telling stories.
Oh, well, you want another International Women's Day dedication?
Should we?
Why not?
Okay.
All right. I'd like to give a happy Women's Day dedication to Carla Leanne Homolka.
Oh, God.
You might know her. She was born May the 4th, 1970. Right? She's just old enough for me not to want her anymore.
No!
Known as Leanne Teal, she is a Canadian serial killer who, with her first husband, Paul Bernardo, raped and murdered at least 3 minors. She attracted worldwide media when she was convicted of manslaughter following a plea bargain in 1991 and 1992 for the murder and rape of 2 Ontario teenage girls. One was named Leslie Mahaffey, and the other one is named Kristen French. Also, she was convicted for the rape and death of her sister Tammy. Happy International Women's Day to Carla Homolka, making women proud. No, I guess Ginger's not having anything to do with this.
Oh, wow. You read that with a lot of vigor, you know?
First of all, you said vigor, right?
Yeah. Why is that surprising?
Oh, I thought you said something else.
Oh.
Dog, since you've been gone, I decided that I was going to get an actual job.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
So I got a job as a courier at first, and that went sucked. I got ripped off by the guy.
You were driving, yep.
Yeah, I was just driving around the city and like out of the city with packages and stuff, but like it was a commission job. So after like 2 weeks, the guy was like, "Here's a healthy $700." Like, it cost me $500 to make the $700. What are you talking about? He's like, "Well, you gotta drive faster." I'm like, "Faster? I got a turbo Audi and I'm driving around the city at like half speed." Like, and the funny thing was, this Audi, we're going to get into this. I owned 6 cars last year and it was just a nightmare. All of them have been junk. This Audi the speedometer was in miles per hour. So when I was going 80, I was really going 130 the whole time.
Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah. What does he mean I wasn't going fast enough?
So he ripped you off, is what you're saying?
Yeah, he ripped me off.
How long did it take you to how long did you work for him for?
It would have been 4 weeks.
You want to say his name and shame him because he's such an...
Oh, it's PDQ Courier Company.
Thank you very much for that employment.
I worked in December there.
Yeah.
And like the first 2 weeks of December, and then you got that 3rd week off because it was Christmas and whatever. And then I worked a couple of days after that, and then they gave me the second check after New Year's. I was like, this is a joke. I got to get out of here. Yeah. And I literally told him what I was saying. I'm like, you're a thief. And he goes to me, well, you can always come back here and work whenever you want.
Of course he said
like,
that.
Well, yeah, you robbed me. Of course you want me to come back and work. So I'm now officially working back at my auto parts store.
Okay, yours. You call it yours?
I mean, I used to work there several years ago. Yeah. And I happened to be on a run at the courier place. And I was like, I need to get windshield washer fluid. So I went in and I was talking to the owner. I was like, oh, wow, I saw an ad that said you need drivers. What do you think? He's like, oh, I don't care what you do. I was like, cool. And he goes, just go to the back and ask the guy if he wants to hire you. I'm like, all right. So I walk to the back, and it's literally a guy that I hired 9 years ago at the place. And he's like, oh my God, Jimmy, of course I'm going to hire you. So I'm back working at the auto parts thing. And
is it like you were just like you left yesterday? You walk right back in?
It's just like I wasn't gone. But like I figured something out about myself.
Yeah.
I am a horrible driver.
Oh.
I mean, not my style of driving. Like I can drive, I stay in the lines and everything. But
kind of, yeah.
I am the most impatient person on the roads in this city. If you see like a blue hatchback tailing you at some point, it's me. I'm trying to get around you. And if you don't know the common rules of the road, like stick to the left lane if you want to drive slow, well, then we're going to have a problem. I might throw a Tim Hortons coffee at you. I might not.
Stick to the left lane. That's the fast lane.
No, I said the right lane, didn't I?
I don't know.
Just get out of the way. That's all that matters. Dog, I owned 6 cars last year. Yeah. I had the worst luck ever when it came to cars last year.
How did you have 6 cars? Like you ruined 6 cars?
I had a 2002 Volkswagen Jetta. Mm-hmm. I had a 2008 Volkswagen Jetta.
Right.
I had a 2011 Volkswagen Tiguan.
True.
I had a 2009 Audi A4 Quattro.
Okay.
And right now I'm driving a Toyota station wagon. So that's 5. I'm missing a car.
What about the Honda?
Is it? Yes, the blue Honda Civic. Mm-hmm. 6 cars in 1 year. I have been through more wiring issues than anyone on earth. I was the biggest German car fan. Mm-hmm. I tell everybody, I'm like, oh, I can't believe you're not driving a Volkswagen. What's wrong with you? Volkswagens rule the world. I have learned my lesson. It was an expensive lesson.
What do you think?
Germans make the junkiest cars on earth.
Oh, that's calling them out.
Yeah. If you look at like the Forbes list of the least reliable cars on earth, there's BMW at number 1, Mercedes at number 3, and Audi at number 4.
Seriously?
Yes. And these cars, I mean, none of these cars start under $50,000, like a real one.
Yeah.
You could probably get an Econo box Mercedes for like $40,000.
Oh, that's cheap.
But, I mean, I've heard nightmare stories, and I didn't listen to them. I was like, nah, you guys are just stupid. You don't know nothing about cars.
Yeah.
$1,200 sensors just going. Your windows stop working.
Just like that, bam.
Just like that, blam. And they're like, yeah, it costs $1,200 for your windows to start working again.
Sure, no problem.
Brake jobs that are like $1,500. Where like on your car, your Toyota, I can get the brakes for $80 and put them on myself.
Yeah.
And it's just over and over again. So I bought an Audi in November. From November to the end of, I guess it was the second week, third week, the end of January, I owned that car. And every other week, I managed to break something on that car.
So you were really clinging on. You had it that whole time.
I was just holding on. I was hoping. Like I changed the brakes myself, and they still cost $400 just for like the parts.
What did you expect, though? These are luxury cars. These are like...
2 weeks later, I get a check engine light, and it's like, oh, there's something wrong with your turbo. You got to change this valve thing.
Oh, turbo.
I'm like, all right, let's change the valve thing. 2 weeks later, oh, there's something wrong with your oil filter. It's leaking oil. You need to change this cup and the filter and get a synthetic oil change, which is $100 anyways on top of everything. So the last straw with me was, it turns out that Audis have these drain plugs that have to be cleaned every couple of years, or water will leak into your car. And I would get puddles on the passenger side or the driver's side of my car. They're like 3 inches deep.
What?
I'd come out to the car the next morning, and there's just a whole bunch of water on the floor.
What?
And after 2 minutes of research, you find out that under the driver's seat of Audis, and specifically this A4 model, they have this electronic module called the Comfort Control Module. And it basically controls your windows, your door locks, your alarm, your trunk, your sunroof, your heater panel, your defroster, your wipers, your signal lights, the volume switches for your stereo on the steering wheel,
the
everything.
brake,
Now,
keeping the
this
wheels
module,
on,
for I don't know how long, because I don't know how long the drains were plugged, is sitting in a puddle of water for like years, the guy said. See,
Really?
I made a horrible mistake, and this is the lesson that I'd like to bring to the world.
Oh.
If you own an Audi, no one can fix it. No one.
Why?
I'm telling you, I work in an auto parts store, and my job is to deliver auto parts to several garages across the region.
All right.
And I would pull up with the Audi. I'd be like, hey, the car's doing this. And they'd be like, I don't know. I don't know.
They don't want to do anything about it?
You got to talk to this electrician dude. He's a specialist.
Yeah.
So I get a hold of the specialist. Finally get him on the phone. He's like, yeah, I'll see you Monday. Show him the car. He looks at it. He looks around. He's like, yeah, come back next week. Another guy, yeah, come back next week. Nobody was willing to touch the car. They're afraid of it. Mm-hmm. It's a wiring heap. So I'm told by a friend, he's like, well, here's the best thing you should do. Take the car to Audi. Get them to diagnose what's wrong with the car. Oh. See how much they would charge you to fix it. And if it's cheap enough, get it done. And if not,
get rid of it.
Leave. And get it fixed somewhere else.
Okay.
So I bring the car to Audi on a Thursday, and they're like, oh, yeah, we don't have a chance to bring it in today. We'll give you a rental car because we didn't have the car in for you. I was like, well, wait a minute. Why would they just offer up a rental car like that? And it's like a light went off in my head at that moment. I was like, uh-oh, I'm about to get robbed blind here. I mean, there were a couple of warning signs. When I went to go drop the car off Thursday morning at 7 in the morning,
yeah,
there was a lineup of Audis like you wouldn't believe waiting to get serviced. And I was like, there's more people here than Tim Hortons. I don't understand what's going on.
Oh, no.
So I get in there, and the guy's like, okay, well, I'll take your car to the service area, sir. And he puts on, like, a pair of white gloves.
Like a butler.
Yes. I was like, uh-oh. So he drives the car off.
Imagine he, like, wipes the door handle and the steering wheel before he drives it.
He did.
Oh, no.
And then he put the gloves on so he wouldn't get it dirty again.
Oh, no.
And then he comes in and he's like...
Did you just bend over right there?
He's like, your shuttle driver will be here soon, and he's going to drive me to work. And I had arranged with work that I was going to borrow one of their cars for the day and whatever. So I get in the shuttle van, and I knew there was a problem because he apologizes. He's like, oh, I'm sorry that we have the Chrysler today, but the Audi's in for servicing. Now, I don't know if that's a sign.
Wait,
but
who said that?
The loaner Audi that belongs to the shuttle bus driver is in for servicing. That means all of them are screwed.
The Chrysler's the backup. Oh, no.
He drops me off at work. I go work the day. I get a call at about 4 o'clock. They're like...
That's even a warning sign that they use a Chrysler as a backup vehicle.
He's like, I don't have time to look at your car today. Just go to Enterprise Rent-A-Car and we'll give you a rental car for the night.
All right.
I'm like, I'm not paying for a rental car. What are you talking about? He's like, oh, no, we'll pay for it. I was like, uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
I'm done. Next day, I drive a rental car at work and everything. I get a call from Audi. They're like, you're going to have to come in, sir. We have to have a talk with you. I'm like, sure.
Oh, I've heard this line. We need to have a talk. I know what happens next.
I go drop off the rental car, and a car that cost me $3,000 the month before, they looked me straight in the face and said, sir, it's going to cost...
Wait, can I guess?
Okay. Higher.
Yeah, 7.
7 what?
No, that's too much. 5,500.
Close.
Really?
They wanted $5,100 to get the windows working again. And the guy looked at me and said, I don't know if this is going to fix the car, but this is what we think is wrong.
What did they think is wrong?
They said that module was gone and all the wires to it. So basically they had to rewire the car. I was like, well, how does that happen?
Oh, no.
He looked at me and he said, sir, you went in the car with dirty boots. I was like, what? He goes, dirty boots. You went in the car with dirty boots. I was like, sir, I don't want to be the one to point this out to you, but this is an all-wheel drive vehicle and we live in Canada.
Yeah.
Who doesn't wear boots that has dirt on them? And he's like, well, I mean, $5,000. You want us to fix it? I was like, no. Can I have my car back? And I got rid of it as fast as I could.
How much did he charge you to diagnose that?
It costed me $600 to diagnose it and the rental car and all of that, and they literally did nothing to the car.
I could have flown you halfway across the world for that much.
I could have gotten a job on a cruise ship and still made more money than you.
Yeah.
We got to take a commercial break. That was a long story. Don't buy German cars. You're going to be angry like me. You're listening to The Buzz on CKDJ 107.9. It's Saturday. You're listening to CKDJ 1079, Ottawa's new music. Getting your Saturday night started off right. We're going to post this podcast somehow, right?
We have to.
Probably put it on the Buzz Facebook page.
Yeah.
Aw, man. This is a serious Paxton special.
6 minutes, 6 minutes, 6 minutes, make it French your own.
You youngins know nothing about this good rap music. The Ginger asked me a stupid question before the show. He's like, do you know Little Yachty?
Yachty.
Little Yakety?
Yachty.
Little Yakov?
That's it.
What's a Little Yachty?
I think it's actually a mixture of weed and tobacco in a bowl. That's a yacht.
It sounds like that pile of shit that you got kicked off of. I got kicked off the Little Yachty.
I was on the big yachty.
Yeah, I was on the big yachty.
I was on the big
getting
yachty.
drunk.
Yeah.
Funky and fresh for 1984. Oh my God. You're so young. This is funny. When this music was out, Tyler's dad wasn't even thinking about having him. He was like, I'm not having one of those disgusting kids. I'm partying.
You think my dad partied?
He's probably dancing to this music at the club.
That's funny.
Got a couple of news stories. You want to do news, buddy?
Should we not celebrate International Women's Day first?
Oh, I'm always into celebrating women.
I think that
womenness.
it's topical, right? And there's nothing like sharing some fellow spirit with those listeners of the Buzz, because sometimes we're a little negative, so this will be good.
Well, how about a happy International Women's Day to Miss Lorena Bobbitt, born October 31st, 1970. Her birthday's Halloween. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
Because she is the original nightmare. She's the original men's nightmare.
What?
She is born in Bulaclay, Ecuador.
Why is that a warning? I'm confused.
She's Ecuadorian. Spanish women.
I know.
They got that fire Latin blood.
They got a little bit of spice to them.
Arriba! So, oh, God.
What'd she do?
She was part of a couple. She was married to John Wayne Bobbitt.
Nice.
And on June the 18th, 1989, their relationship made worldwide headlines.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. That's when they started going out. She made headlines in 1993 when Lorena decided to cut her husband's penis off.
Whoa.
With a knife.
Not nice.
While he was asleep in bed.
Not nice.
But the penis was subsequently reattached.
So, did it... Oh, God, so many questions.
Happy International Women's Day to Lorena Bobbitt. One of the more compassionate women in this world.
I wonder if he was cheating.
They always blame it on that.
That's always a threat, right? I'm going to cut your dick off if you cheat on me.
Well, I mean...
Those fiery Puerto Ricans.
She said it. I can guarantee it. She said it in a fight. I'm going to cut your penis off if you ever get caught. I find out you're cheating on me. I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to cut off your little wee-wee, mate. I'm going to chop it off, mate.
All right. Do you think that she tried to have sex with him after he got it reattached again? That's my own question.
I don't want to have sex with a little chop off wee-wee.
Yeah, I don't think he would. Like, no, I'm not going near you again with this thing.
I don't know. He's a man. I think he would.
It's true. If he was drunk and it was there.
Man, that's your answer to everything. If he was drunk.
And it was there.
Everyone's life is not like getting kicked off a boat. Oh, too soon.
Come on, leave it alone for a sec, dog.
Too soon. Well, I got a couple of news stories for this week. You want to get into it?
Yeah, news is interesting.
You've obviously missed all the land news.
Here's what
been gone.
No sense of what's going on.
That's nothing new.
Yeah, true.
That's just you. All right, well, our first story, the thing is, I thought it would be fun to not, like, label these, so I don't even know what these stories are.
Okay.
I just made the clips. So let's see.
Animal lovers are up in arms over the adoption of a potbelly pig that ended in a pork meal. CBC News report.
All right, you got my attention. All right, yeah. Oh, one thing.
Reports that a local British Columbia Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals branch adopted out 3-year-old pig Molly to a Vancouver Island couple in January, thinking they were...
Molly the pig. So it's obviously one of those miniature pigs, right? It's not going to be a full-blown pig. They would have put that in a farm. Mm-hmm. But like that's like a new trend that's been going on. I don't know if it's a new trend, but it's a newish trend where people are getting pigs as pets.
Well, pigs are pretty smart, dog. Did you know that?
That sentence made no sense for a second. You're like, pigs are pretty smart, dog. I'm like, okay, cat.
What up, horse?
You think a dog is... who do you think is smarter, a dog or a pig? What? You really had a quick answer to that. How did
pigs
you know?
are smarter. They are. They have way more emotion, and we just cut them up and eat them as bacon. But
I'm not talking the kind of pig that you tried to sleep with on the boat when you were liquored up, right?
No, that was a cow.
No.
Okay.
Going to keep the animal as a pet for the remainder of its life. Just weeks later, however, the BC SPCA reports feelings of shock and heartbreak after finding out that the animal has been slaughtered and eaten by her adopters.
Imagine that poor pig. Like, the pig is like, oh, wow, I finally got out of this pen, and I got a family that finally loves me. Why are they putting that fry pan on the stove?
Why is there a big knife in front of me?
Hey, why do they have so many eggs on the counter?
What does bacon mean?
I love the smell of fried potatoes.
Poor pig didn't know it was coming.
No clue what was coming. They started walking towards him with like a club. Like, here, little Kenny.
Yeah, and like Sheila, the mom's putting on her apron. Oh no.
2 treats and like a butcher's knife.
What's a pig's treat? Like a carrot?
Anything, it's a pig.
The local law enforcement to hear that somebody did this to an animal that we worked so hard to make sure was healthy and tried to get into a good home.
Shut up.
Funny fact about Canada.
It's food.
Did you know that you can actually kill your animal, your pet, and eat it, and it's not against the law?
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Well, you do with chickens all the time.
Your chickens aren't your pets.
Well, they can be.
I mean, I guess it could be your pet. I put it on my balcony for eggs. That was another Spanish impression. It's always Mexicans that do that kind of stuff.
Really impressive.
Absolutely heartbreaking, said Leon Davis of British Columbia's SPCA.
Clearly a vegetarian, right?
Mm-hmm.
That young bacon probably tastes delicious, too.
Adding, it takes a special type of person to adopt an animal from a rescue organization simply to take them home, to kill them, and eat them.
That's not true.
They did wait a couple of
weeks.
They
invested. They put food and money into it, trying to make it fatter.
You think they tried to fatten it up?
Yeah,
like,
of course they did.
Whatever you do, don't feed it bacon. That's cannibalism. Hey, pig, you like cow meat?
The couple who adopted Molly say they had troubles training the pig and have since been blacklisted from BC SPCA's database and will be unable to adopt in the future.
Well, I mean,
as long as it's not a puppy next time, what do they care?
What else does it take to get you on the blacklist? I mean, that might be point number 1. If you take the pet home, kill it, and eat it, you're on the blacklist. How racist of them, the blacklist.
Yeah, why isn't it called the whitelist?
We both know why.
We're just happy someone squealed on these dishonorable adopters.
Oh my god.
That was the corniest thing I've ever heard.
I hate YouTube news stories sometimes.
Can I tell you a news story?
Yeah.
I have one kind of like that.
Go ahead.
All right. So there was this club that was trying to get attention, right? And as a stunt, it's an animal story as well. They used a horse, a big white horse, and this really hot girl got dressed up in a bikini and a bra, and she rode the horse into the club.
That's funny because, like, in the 80s, riding the white horse was the thing, but that meant you were doing a lot of cocaine and going to the club.
She probably did it before.
I mean, if you're in the club on a horse in a bikini, you did coke.
Probably.
You did something.
Molly, at least.
Right? So just tripping balls, rubbing her head against the horse. Ah, it's so soft.
The place was in Miami Beach, and, here's the problem these days. You can't do anything like that without a video of it being taken. It just happens. There's always video evidence, right? So the video got shared all over social media, and, like, in the video, the people in the club are loving it. They're all cheering. They're like, "Yeah, look at that hot chick on the horse. This is awesome. What a great night at the club." People online freaked, dog.
Well, you understand, the people online that are complaining about the horse in the club are the people that have no friends and can't go to the club. Of course they're complaining. Wouldn't you be mad? I saw a hot girl in a bikini at a club and I wasn't invited. I'd be ticked.
Well,
I'm mad right now that I wasn't in the club.
The other thing is that the horse kind of got scared with all the people around, and it
you think?
And it bucked the girl off. She fell off, and then it kind of fell a little bit and stood back up. It tried to kick someone. It didn't.
I could see a drunk hoe bag being like, "Give the horse a shot. It wants a shot. It'll be okay.
Give it a carrot shot."
Meanwhile, the horse is freaking out because the bottle service and the sparkler and the thing, and the music is thumping.
And there's a million people around yeah, horse. So anyway, the horse has been inspected and deemed healthy and safe. The investigation continues.
You know how they inspect the horse, right?
How?
With thick gloves. Not like those gloves that they used to make your sub at Subway, like the thick gloves.
Did you? Oh.
You gotta reach right in. And it isn't even the horse's fault. I mean, who brought the horse to the club?
The club manager has a marketing stunt.
It worked. We're talking about it here in Canada.
Well, the city manager, Jimmy Morales, in a statement said, Morales as if.
Screw you, Jimmy Morales.
He says, the city was made aware of the incident involving possible animal cruelty and a hazard to public safety.
Possible animal cruelty.
He said, I was disgusted and offended that any legitimate business person would think it was an appropriate action to take. Wow.
Thanks, Jimmy Morals.
Yeah, that was really moral of you to say.
You really, really helped.
Yeah, well, anyway, there you go. There's 2 animal stories. This world's turning into a crazy animal place. Sorry.
That was a real shippy story.
That was a real shippy joke.
Yeah,
what do you mean that was a bad story? That's a great story.
I know. I meant it was shippy. Shippy for the horse.
Oh, true. Poor horse got really scared.
If I was a horse, I would have dropped the deuce right in the middle of the dance floor.
Oh, wow.
Imagine, I got horse crap on my high heel.
Wouldn't be the first horse to do it that night.
No. And definitely not the only animal in the club that night, for sure. Well, here's story number 2.
It was a devastating loss, captured by onlookers. Intense smoke and crews fighting a losing battle.
Fire so far.
Okay.
Not good.
Crews fighting.
It's like a gang of firemen.
Hours later, this is all that's left. Paturell's lobster plant, the largest employer on Deer Island, destroyed.
When I arrived on scene, the buildings were fully involved, pretty much down.
That sounds like the most delicious fire I've ever heard of in my life.
Wait, what burnt?
A lobster plant.
Oh, no.
Woo! Break out the garlic butter, baby.
Oh
my God, that's like a Red Lobster all-you-can-eat fest, and eat it quick.
I see what's going on here.
And so it was pretty intense for a while.
The fire broke out around 2:30 this morning. Everyone managed to get out safe.
Oh, yeah, and imagine you're leaving the club all drunk, and they're like, hurry up, you gotta go eat all this burning lobster. Oh, it sounds like heaven to me.
40 volunteer firefighters from 5 different departments were on scene for 12 hours.
That sounds like the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
What?
Who volunteers to fight fires?
Lots of people.
Oh, yeah, you're a hero. Ooh-wee. I volunteer to stay at home and not fight fires. Sorry.
You're a great volunteer.
I'd rather do something more in the community. Like, I volunteer to go to the store next to my house and buy some chips and pop.
See, you would volunteer to go eat all of the lobster from this place. That's something you would do, right?
Lobster. Get me a bib.
Oh, wow.
You think they had to have bibs on the scene, too?
Yeah, and they had, the things that you could crack the shells and everything.
Yeah, lobster crackers.
You had to.
I don't even know if that's what they're called, but that's what they're called now.
I don't know if that's a thing.
Imagine. I got my own custom lobster cracker.
You know you have a problem when...
You know what? That should be your nickname after coming off the boat with your complexion and everything. Hey, lobster cracker.
Smoke still billowing from the ground this afternoon as crews put out hotspots.
Hold on. That's hotspot smoked lobster. Delicious.
Oh, wow. It's going up in value here.
Man, they got a menu at this buffet.
Wow.
Been hauling water since we arrived and the trucks hadn't stopped.
This is the second time a fire has destroyed a Pacharel facility in the past 6 months.
Oh, something's
In September,
fishy
a fire
here.
destroyed a lobster tank house on the other side of the island.
Oh, yeah, eh? Burned down the lobster house on the other side of the island, eh? It's like a whole Newfoundlandy folktale now, or a Nova Scotia folktale. Oh, yeah, remember the year that the 2 lobster plants burned down?
I wonder if it's like lobster mafia fighting each other.
It's a whole
like there's
lobster cartel beef.
There's a couple skippers that are just, plotting against the other. Oh, wow.
The cause of that fire was electrical. An official cause for today.
It would be good if they said the cause of that fire, a really hot stove and boiling pot of water.
Oh, no.
Has yet to be determined. The
I
fire
thought
marshal's
they just said it
office
was-
is investigating.
It's a blow. I mean, you've got to realize
You're a
Huron is
blow.
a very small, very close-knit community. People reach out to help each other, and that's exactly what's been taking place on the ground.
New Brunswick's Minister of Fisheries and the area MLA says Pacharel is an international operation, supplying lobster to the European and Asian markets.
Who cares?
I learned something interesting about lobster on the Shippy-Roo. Apparently, lobster is really, really valuable now, and it used to be worth a lot less. So if you were to buy a pound of lobster, it might have been worth like $17. But then the Asian market opened up to lobster, and they drove the prices through the roof. So now if you want a pound of lobster, it's like $80 or something like that.
You mean robster?
If you are an Asian, yeah, lobster.
Lobster's worth nothing there, but lobster soup, delicious.
Do you want to have a lobster tonight?
Oh, lobster tail, deep fry. You tempura it off.
So pretty much it's like we need to get paid.
I literally want lobster tempura right now.
I miss sushi buffets. There could have been a lobster buffet.
Oh, man. Well, I hope the Nova Scotia lobster industry survives.
I don't know. They have insurance probably for the lobster
You
issue.
got another story you want me to go on?
I have another story, but I think it's going to hit close to home, so let's save it for later.
Save it. Something local.
Yeah.
This is the next story.
There's an old saying, you can't fight City Hall. The
Yeah,
man
you
sitting
can.
in his minivan blocking a lane of traffic doesn't believe that.
I called 311. I told them. They said, you'll have to move your car. I said, I'm not moving my car. You have to get the police.
Edwards
You understand what's going on here?
He's protesting with his vehicle?
It's the arrogance of white people.
I'm confused.
They feel as if you don't have like a pothole fixed right away, he could park his minivan on top of the pothole and create a traffic situation. He literally shut his car off on top of a big major pothole and said, I don't care. Call the police when Bylaw tried to move him.
What? Because there was a pothole?
Have you noticed that the city has a pothole problem this year?
No, I haven't been here.
Oh, well, yeah. Screw you.
Gretzky's fight is about potholes. He wants them filled on his street near Bathurst and Finch.
Lord.
And after weeks of calling the city, he decided to take action. And that action did bring the police.
And what the cruisers say to you?
Move your car? No, you have to arrest me.
That's not what they would say to our people. You could tell this guy's a white guy. In Toronto, where this story's from, if it wasn't a white guy, they would have just tasered him and shot him. Like, oh, gang activity.
He had a gun.
Yeah, dropped some drugs beside him and shot him in the chest.
Zaretsky didn't get arrested. Instead, he got resolved.
Now I know 100% that he's white.
Yeah.
They said he didn't get arrested.
He walked away.
3 hours after his one-man protest began, a city crew arrived and started filling the potholes.
What?
I feel tremendous. I'm 84 years old and I feel 20.
It likely helped that Zaretsky's protest came to the attention of Mayor John Tory at a news conference this morning.
If you wanted to provide me with that man's name, I had somebody else tell me within the last...
The mayor's about to put a hit on a cracker.
Yeah. He's like, what neighborhood does he live in? What's his mother's name?
Provide me a name and an address
What
for
time
this
does he
gentleman,
walk
and
his dog?
We'll make sure that all the complaining stops as of tonight.
A couple of days that when he put his pothole into the system, it was fixed the same day.
It's a bad year for potholes. Take a look at the numbers. The city has already filled more than 80,000 of them this year. Zaretsky is well known in this area. He operates a group called Citizens Alliance.
Oh.
He also...
Nothing is worse than an old white man that's retired and has nothing better to do than to complain about the community.
I'm 84 years old and a warrior for my community.
Let's take it back to the good old days.
You do things the right way. You park your car in the middle of the street and make sure no one gets to work on time.
They forget what they used to do in the good old days.
These are the good old days.
Oh, man. You know what? They should just take a club and hit this 84-year-old man over the head.
It's all Viagra and pensions for him.
While he's sitting over that pothole, like, just club him. He'll be like, oh, my God, what am I doing sitting in the middle of the street? I should move. There's no arguing. Just donk. Imagine they would have tasered this guy for parking on top of a pothole.
That would have been fantastic.
How bad are the potholes in Toronto if old people are just, they got 3 hours to sit there on top of them?
Apparently there's 80,000 of them they've already filled this year.
80,000 potholes?
That's what they just
said. Is there any street left?
No.
Ran for city council in 2010, and he makes no apologies for what he did.
Some people might say what you did today is kind of unfair because you went to the front of the line because of what you did, where there's other streets that are in work.
The front of the pothole line? Are you serious?
This is sounding like a big issue.
This is great. This is when white people turn on each other. This is fantastic.
Obviously, there's no problems in the world. We're arguing about
sit
potholes.
Back and watch. Let's see this.
I bet you'd love to watch.
Go riot.
For shape.
That's wonderful. Let them go to the front of the line.
I have to go along this street 3-4 times a day, and what that man did was amazing.
They say
He's
the
a hero.
squeaky wheel gets the grease, or in this story, it's the asphalt.
Oh.
I'm really starting to get sick of these taglines to these
Seriously,
stories.
like, you get all the story, and then you just end on this note where you go, oh, no.
Let me ruin the whole story for you. They say the greasy wheel gets the asphalt. What does that even mean? What an idiot.
And they think they're so clever, too.
Let's do one more story, and then I'll do a commercial.
Okay.
What's this one about?
The BC Lions and the CFL are facing troubling questions tonight.
The CFL still a thing?
What? CF what?
About why a player who's charged with multiple sex crimes was never suspended. Euclid Cummins signed with the Lions.
Looks like we got us a rapey linebacker.
Sounds about right.
Going after tight ends.
Just last month, but as Sheila Scott reports, the team insists it only just found out about the charges.
And you can't hit anybody in the helmet. Euclid Cummings clearly does here.
At 6'3" and 300 pounds, Euclid Cummings is known for being physical on the field.
Oh, my God.
What does that mean?
Right?
About to turn up in your city.
But the BC Lions' new defensive tackle is now out of the CFL.
The charges were a bit of a surprise.
What does that even mean? The CFL, is that even a job? Like, what does he lose? I bet you he makes more money now that he's out of the CFL.
Yeah, he's actually got more time to work.
Well, now he's an Uber driver.
I think to everyone.
The league voided Cummings' contract Wednesday after it was revealed the football player had been charged with 2 counts of sexual assault, 1 count of assault, and 1 count of uttering threats.
That contract was worth a whopping $2,300.
Holy!
It's the CFL. What contract are they talking about? You probably have to get your own equipment in the CFL.
You do.
Like, you got to rent your own pads and stuff.
No, they were providing 90%, but there's a few things that they don't. Cleats, you don't get your own cleats.
Oh, you're being serious.
Yeah.
About why a player who's charged with multiple sex crimes was never suspended. Euclid Cummins signed with the Lions just last month, but as Sheila Scott reports, the team insists it only just found out about the charges.
And you can't hit anybody in the helmet. Euclid Cummings clearly does here. But
At 6'3" and 300 pounds, Euclid Cummings is known for being physical on the field.
I'm about to turn up in your city.
But the BC Lions' new
city,
defensive tackle is now out of the CFL.
The charges were a bit of a surprise, I think, to everyone.
The league voided Cummings' contract Wednesday after it was revealed the football player had been charged with 2 counts of sexual assault, 1 count of assault, and 1 count of uttering threats. The offenses allegedly happened in Vancouver in October of 2016.
Okay.
Second and short.
Just
Sack it in short?
What a horrible place to put a football clip into. The rapes happened in 2016. Second and short. He's about to go in. What?
This is a really shoddy newscast. Kind of love it, though.
Oh, man. All of this is horrible.
A few days after, Cummings played in Vancouver for the Winnipeg Blue Bombers.
The Bombers, according to the Bombers, informed the CFL in November when they were informed by Vancouver police that Cummings was under investigation.
But
hold on. He's under investigation for sexual assault and his name is Cummings?
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave that one alone.
He had a real blue bomber one night.
Pierre's information wasn't passed on or was ignored. Cummings was signed to Edmonton while still under investigation and continued to play after charges were approved last April. The Eskimos say they were unaware.
I think the question becomes, was there any follow-up by the CFL after being informed that there was an investigation ongoing into Cummings?
Imagine the CFL has their own investigative team like CSI.
Yeah, seriously.
We are the CFL Sexual Crime Investigation Team.
But they only meet once a week, and it's a volunteer-based position with a couple of the wives on a few teams. So, like,
I was gonna investigate this crime, but I got to go back to my job at managing a Subway.
Turns out I have spin class tonight, so I won't be able to make it.
Oh, yeah. A pottery for me.
As for why the BC Lions signed a player charged with sex offenses, they say...
I don't know, because he's 6'9", 330 pounds, and mean.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty good characteristics for a defensive lineman, if you ask me.
We were given no indication by the player...
Except for the whole rapey part. But he never said that on his resume.
No.
Or his representation that these charges existed. We would not have offered him a contract.
You really got to ask for references.
Seriously.
At least 3.
But what reference...
Have you known about this situation?
Get anybody...
What reference are you going to put on your resume that's going to say that you sexually assault people, dog?
I mean, right?
Yeah. If you were smart.
We should take a break right now. We got a couple more news stories, and then... I forget. We said we were going to finish off the show somehow.
Well, I have a news story that's going to hit home for you, and I have a little game as well if you want to play a little game.
I am always into games.
Yeah.
You're listening to The Buzz on CKDJ 1079.
It's all a big game.
Yeah, it's games. It's The Buzz on CKDJ 1079. Ottawa's new music. Although that has nothing to do with Ottawa, I'll tell you the truth. No. That's old school right there. You know who Humpty is, Tyler?
No, but I like what he says.
Exactly.
It's funny.
Exactly. Youngins ain't know nothing about no Humpty.
Should I know?
No.
Oh, okay.
We got like not even 10 minutes left in the show.
Time flies, doesn't it?
Our first show back at the Algonquin Super Studio.
It is so good to be back here, especially at Starbucks. I mean, in the CKDJ studios.
Yeah, big thanks to Balloons Ottawa for supplying us with the stolen balloons from the Students' Commons area.
They really make this feel like the party that it is, you know?
It is festive today.
It seemed fitting to have balloons floating around in here.
Yeah, it really does.
I have a question for you.
All right.
Have you ever
been kicked off of a boat for over drinking? No.
Shut up. One night, in your house, gone onto Amazon and bought something really random. Not remembered, woke up the next day and saw a charge on a credit card, or maybe even it just comes in the mail and you say, where did this come from?
Well, funny story about that.
Oh.
I actually had to, log out of my Amazon account.
Yeah.
On purpose. Like, you know how when you log in, it has, like, that little button that says remember me?
Yes.
I had to make sure that was clicked, like, to not remember me. Because I am an impulse Amazon shopper.
Oh.
Like, I'd order stuff in the middle of the night and not remember the next day.
Not good.
And then stuff like phone cases would show up, like, 2 weeks later. And I wouldn't even get good ones. They'd be, like, cheap Chinese ones that would just flake out and break. I get, like, Bluetooth speakers for my phone.
Were you drunk? Why were you doing this?
No, I just get up and love to spend. It was so easy. And, like, the credit card is saved in the account and everything. It's just too easy.
It's super simple.
Clicking by. The last thing was, like, I guess it was, like, a month ago.
Oh, yeah? What'd you get?
I got a brake caliper piston recoil kit. Exactly. An automotive tool.
It was a tool?
How many brakes do you think I'm going to do?
What does it do? Does it, like, get calipers unstuck?
It pushes the piston in on a caliper. This is just like, welcome to Auto Talk this week. I'm Jimmy, and I'm here with my guest, Tyler. Hey, Tyler, have you ever had a stuck caliper?
Yeah.
When you change your brakes, they got this thing called a caliper.
Yeah, it's where the brake pads go in.
Yeah, and it's got this little piston that pushes your brake pads in and out against your rotor.
Okay.
Which is the big metal plate thingy. So in order to get your new brake pads on, you have to push that piston in because it's already pushed out because your brake pads start to shrink.
Oh,
so
right.
I got a kit that it's the easiest 1, 2, 3.
Have you used it yet?
Yeah, I did. I changed the brakes on my hatchback that I got now.
But usually you don't have to use that tool unless the piston's stuck.
Oh, you really don't have to use the tool. You can use vice grips, but like I said, midnight purchase.
Well, you're not alone. Apparently that half of Americans struggle with this as well.
I don't know if I should be proud or disgusted with myself that I'm the same as half American.
Well, we are North America.
Got me on a technicality there, Ginger.
They spend an average of $448 per person in like these drunk midnight purchases in 2017.
Oh, get out of here. I beat that. I beat that by far.
Really?
Oh, my God.
You spend over $500 in a year?
I used to buy like clothes from the Bay online overnight because they'd send these emails that would tell you about this discount.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, my God, clearance. You got 3 hours. I'm like... And in my sleep, I'm just like, oh, my God, I got 3 hours to buy this clothes. I never wore half of it.
Do you have really bad taste when you're midnight shopping?
No, actually, I still have good taste. But, I mean, I had to cut myself off. I had to, like, log out of everything. It's crazy.
This sounds like we need to get paid. Maybe we could advertise the Buzz clothing at, like, 3 a.m. to our listeners. All you loyal fans out there, you're going to buy a T-shirt from us at 3 a.m. one night over a blast email.
I mean, let's face it. All of our loyal fans probably are already buzzed and own T-shirts right now.
And we don't have T-shirts to sell, which is an issue.
It is what it is. I mean, you got to serve your audience.
Oh, no. Do you want to try my game, or do you have something else that you wanted to talk about quick? Maybe another International Women's Day?
I want to try your game as long as it lasts.
Well, it's not going to last.
6 minutes. Go.
Well, it's a...
Oh, my God, I'm having fun.
It's a finish the TMZ headline game.
Ah, yeah.
I just invented this like literally maybe an hour ago.
Oh my God, you're full of yourself, Mr. Inventor.
What you're going to do is fill in the blank in this TMZ headline, okay?
Yes. Fill in the blank.
All right, so it said, O.J. Simpson. I'm the blank. Ron and Nicole killed me.
Oh, and I got to fill in the blank?
You got to fill in that blank. I'm the blank. Ron and Nicole killed me.
I'm the shiphead. I'm the chef.
No.
I'm the murderer.
Close. Not really. It does have to do with murderer, though.
I'm the double murderer.
No. He says, I'm the victim.
I mean,
Ron and Nicole killed me.
Well, Oj, sorry, but according to crime scene photos, they're in a bit worse shape than you, dog.
Okay, try this one. Tommy Lee wants on Brandon prosecuted for batter at least 4.
What?
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay, I know this story.
Yeah, what did I try to write, though?
All
okay,
right,
what's the story?
Tommy Lee has a son named Brandon Lee.
Yeah.
And Brandon is
being prosecuted.
Spawn of Pamela Anderson.
Okay.
And it turns out that Tommy Lee was talking stuff about Pamela Anderson.
Yeah.
It's his baby mama.
Yeah.
So he was going off about her and everything on the social media. You know how the Instagram, it's so good for relationships and families and everything.
Yeah.
So Brandon wanted to stick up for his mommy, and he gave his daddy Tommy a shot in the eye and straightened him out. But Tommy's an alcoholic. He's been an alcoholic for anything. He was like part of a band and all this stuff. He's just a mess.
So who was in the right here?
I mean, neither of them.
Is that why they're on TMZ?
There's been sex tapes out with them and everything.
God.
Like, it's a mess. All of that.
Okay, how about this one? Bella Thorne. Do you know who that is?
Isn't she like a WWE girl or something?
Something like that.
Oh, yeah.
It says,
delicious.
Joins boyfriend on stage. Says.
She just got a little bit less attractive.
Says, bitch, I'm. Finish the sentence. What did she say? I'm
a wrestler, so I'm not a real thing. I'm a diva.
Yeah.
So stop being a shiphead to me.
Yeah.
Or I'm a diva. I get to be a shiphead to anyone I want.
Is that what happens when you become a professional wrestler? You just become a big diva?
No, you're just a big pile of ship.
She just said, I'm Bella Thorne.
Yeah, she is.
So that's pretty diva-like.
Yeah, she is.
Mm-hmm. Katy Perry. None involved in singer's lawsuit.
Talent.
What's talented about Katy Perry, dog?
Nothing. That's why none of it's involved.
Oh, no. All right. None involved in singer's lawsuit. So Katy Perry's in a lawsuit, and there's a none involved. Okay?
Sense.
What?
Oh, is none the word, or is it like a
No.
nun from the church?
Exactly.
Oh, get out of here.
A nun from the church is involved in the singer's lawsuit. Blank in court. She blanks in court, this nun.
I mean, it's a nun, so she obviously dropped a deuce in court. There's a big stinky pile.
Not quite.
Right there on the ground. The judge is like, this is all out of order. And Katy Perry, show me those big jugs.
You want to get out of this?
Whatever happened to Katy Perry?
Apparently she's involved in a lawsuit, and the nun dropped dead in court.
What?
Yeah, the nun dropped dead. So one of the nuns who got entangled in the lawsuit, here's the story, filed by Katy Perry, collapsed and died during a court appearance related to the case.
Where's your sky puppet now, nunny nun?
Sister Catherine Rose Halsman and another nun was attempting to sell in an 8-acre covenant? What is going on there?
How does a nun own an 8-acre? Okay.
Katy and restaurant owners.
You know what? God bless.
God bless the buzz.
That's it. That was the buzz.
God bless you. God bless you, Jimmy.
God bless everything. God bless you, Paul. May the Lord be with you.
May the Lord be with you, too.
Get back into Ottawa's new music.
Is that what we should do?
CKDJ, and this was the buzz from a bunch of buzzheads. Have a great weekend, and goodbye.